and gentlemen, hello and welcome to our English news edition coming to you from Canal Algérie. I'm your host, Maysa Doumas. To the headlines. Algeria celebrates the double anniversary of the creation of the Algerian trade union UGTA and the nationalization of hydrocarbons, and the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, pays tribute to the sacrifices of Algerian workers. Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdelrahman inquired about the activation of the RHM2 refinery following the modernization. On the same occasion, he inaugurated the Upside North Separation and Compression Center dedicated to gas and oil treatment. Prime Minister Salah Goujil was elected President of the Upper House of Parliament for a new 3-year mandate, and new members of the Council of the Nation were also installed. And in Morocco, demonstrations continue in several cities of the country due to the rising prices and the lack of freedom. Those were today's headlines. First in our news, we are celebrating on this February 24th a double anniversary, that of the creation of the UGTAA in 1956 and the nationalization of hydrocarbons in 1971. The official festivities took place in Hassim Saoud in the province of Ouargla in the presence of the Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdelrahman, accompanied by the advisor to the President of the Republic, Abdelhafid Allahum, and members of the government. In a message read on his behalf by the Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdelrahman on the occasion of this celebration, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, reiterated the commitment of the state to pursue the efforts aimed at overcoming the social fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic, notably through measures to protect the purchasing power of citizens. Let's have a listen.
While Algerian citizens waged a vicious war against colonialism, a nationalist group as well as loyal patriots created the first trade union, the General Union of Algerian Workers, led by an elite at their head, the martyr Issa Tidir. The generation of workers and unionists who succeeded their predecessors inherited their values and carried on their legacy. We witnessed the union's position during all the difficult trials and challenges that our country faced and withstood, and its success in stopping all those who wanted to harm Algeria with an authentic Novemberist spirit while remaining loyal to our martyrs' memory and sacrifices. Many executive and managers of the General Union of Algerian Workers were killed as martyrs of the national duty. At their head, Martyr Abdelhaq bin Hamouda, with honorable positions in all circumstances during which they had to defend the country's interests by closing the ranks and strengthening the internal front. It is now our duty to pay tribute to the sacrifices of workers across the national territory on all levels, and to pay a special tribute to the victims of the pandemic. We reiterate once again our resolution to maintain our efforts to overcome the COVID-19 social repercussions, namely through measures set up to protect the citizens' purchasing power.
The President of the Republic highlighted the particular interest he had in continuing to strengthen the central role of the energy and mining sector in implementation of the state's strategy for economic recovery and energy transition.
The state gives a particular interest to further strengthen the crucial role of the energy and mine sectors in implementing the state's strategy in terms of economic recovery and energy transition, as well as a strategy which aims to increase our production capacity to meet the country's energy needs in the medium and long term through the development of renewable energies. This interest stems from our deep convictions of the great importance of this sector as a vehicle for the development of other economic sectors and the acceleration of the diversification policy's revenue. This was part of my commitment during my election at the head of the Algerian Republic by doing everything possible to build a strong and diverse national economy that generates wealth, employment and social prosperity by ensuring food security and freeing the nation from its dependence on hydrocarbons and turning it into an engine of economic diversification. Furthermore, we should recall the need to continue adapting to the legal framework of investment in the hydrocarbon, mine and renewable energy sectors to encourage investments and guarantee the country's energy security in long term. As a reminder, the government has completed all the relative application of the law on hydrocarbons and is currently working on completion of the establishment of the legal framework, reviving investment and facilitating and simplifying administrative procedures in line with the current economic environment and the objectives in promoting Algeria as a destination for direct foreign investment.
During his working visit to Hassim Saoud, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman inquired about the activation of the RHM2 refinery following the modernization operation. It will produce several products and aspires to meet the needs of the national market. More details with Rania Al-Bahri.
After its modernization, the RHM2 refinery should produce unleaded petrol, kerosene and diesel in greater quantities. This refinery entered into service in 1990, is currently treating 1,070,000 tons of crude oil. 1,070,000 tons of petroleum is processed annually. It's proven in the production of all types of fuel, including diesel and kerosene for air transport, and leaded gasoline with other materials used in Hassim Saoud and other regions. Strengthening refining capacity is a challenge taken by Sonatrach employees and managers. We thank all the engineers and executives of Sonatrach company. It has reached a large national production level. As we were able this year and even last year not to import gasoline, we wish Sonatrach workers to move forward to secure the national market as much as possible and invade the foreign markets as well. During this visit, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman highlighted the importance of this structure and its contribution to the preservation of the environment. He also saluted the efforts made by Sonatrach to finalize RHM2. We have to follow these new methods, where to use one gasoline type at all the national level. This thing will allow to track production and use of environmentally and friendly fuel against pollution. Today, RHM2 refinery in Hassim Saoud province supplies the southeastern regions of the country with fuel after meeting the needs of local markets.
On the same occasion, the Prime Minister inaugurated the Upside North Separation Compression Center dedicated to gas and oil treatment. This center, composed of a separation unit with a capacity of 40,000 barrels. Rania Al-Bahri.
The new station of compression and reinjection of gas Upside North is provided with a unit of separation of a capacity of 40,000 barrels per day and 3 trains of compression of gas of a total capacity of 5 million cubic meters a day. The realization of the station mobilized 2,300 employees among the competences of Sonatrach and 68 stemming from Ouargla province. This unit is considered as a very important gain for the company of Sonatrach in view of the task entrusted to it, which is to raise the pressure on the pipes, as well as increase the production that falls within the framework of Sonatrach's strategy to raise the production capacity to the maximum degree. During the inauguration ceremony, the Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman emphasized the need for Sonatrach to multiply its efforts in this area with the support of the state. We hope that Sonatrach will double its efforts as the state guarantees support for this company within the framework of its investment effort, so that Sonatrach remains among the best 10 institutions at the global level and develop its capabilities. The national oil company Sonatrach must continue in the investment endeavor even after abandoning it in the past due to circumstances which impose on it the reduction in investment. So on this occasion, we extend our sincere thanks to the Sonatrach Foundation for its efforts during this period by getting to sign 2 contracts with an Italian and a Chinese institutions. The Minister of Energy and Mines, Mohamed Arqab, stressed that Algeria's policy in this sector aims to guarantee long-term energy security through the development and diversification of energy resources. Adopting this approach is included in the government's transitional implementation of energy, which will enable us to provide sustainable solutions to meet energy needs in accordance with the challenges of the environment and make it a factor in industrial development and economic diversification, as well as preserving the fuel resources for future generations, so that it will be a source of security and safety for humans and urbanization. According to the explanations given to the Prime Minister on the spot, the Upside North station will have to ensure the compression and the re-injection of gas that it receives from the collectors connected to the different wells and then exploit it in Hasim Saoud to reduce the combustion of natural gas.
The previous story was by our reporter Ines Kello. On this double anniversary, let's go back to the evolution of the national company Sonatrach, the flagship of the Algerian gas and oil industry. Rania Al-Bahri has the details.
February 24, 1971, a date which marks the normalization of hydrocarbons. This anniversary constitutes a real economic and political victory, especially after the departure of the French technicians. The challenge then was remarkably taken by the Algerian workers. The Algerian workers were able to enter in the high-tech industry and took up the challenge after the departure of the French technicians. Following the normalization decision taken by the late President Houari Boumediene, they managed to maintain production. Then Sonatrach made trainings to its executives through the Algerian Petroleum Institute, and then it has succeeded in maintaining production, but also in being one of the pillars of the national economy. Sonatrach's career has been exceptional for more than a half-century. This national company has succeeded in building an international reputation and gained the rank of essential oil giants. It must be said that Sonatrach is present in all international oil chains, so we are present in exploration domains, particularly in neighboring countries. We have made discoveries in many countries like Libya and Niger. We hope to be present in foreign markets. Sonatrach has managed to put itself in a position of oil and gas giants par excellence. Sonatrach has a global vision. It's an international company. We have a lot of experience. We have partners that operate here in Algeria. We also have partners all over the world. We benefit from their know-how. Thanks to its national skills and company's large-scale development plan, Sonatrach has established itself as a major player internationally in recent years. This national company is stronger than ever with an investment of up to $40 billion from 2020 to 2026.
Salah Goujil was elected president of the Upper House of Parliament for a 3-year mandate, 2022-2024, during a plenary session chaired by the oldest member, assisted by the 2 youngest members of the council. The new members of the Council of the Nation were previously installed following the elections for the partial renewal of the Council of the Nation and the designation of the members of the Upper House of Parliament by the President of the Republic as part of the presidential third party. In an address delivered on the occasion of his plebiscite as President of the Council of the Nation, Salah Goujil expressed his gratitude to the members of the Council. In parliamentary activity, the Bureau of the National People's Assembly held a plenary session on Thursday, chaired by Ibrahim Boughali, during which the work program was set for the coming period. It also reaffirmed a draft organic law specifying the procedures and mandates for notification to the Constitutional Court, to the Committee on Legal and Administrative Affairs and Freedoms. Still in the parliamentary activity, the National People's Assembly held a plenary session which was devoted to oral questions to members of the government. These questions concern the ministers of Religious Affairs and Endowment, Transport, Tourism and Handicrafts, Health and Environment. The daily life of citizens and the improvement of their living condition in anticipation of the month of Ramadan were on Wednesday at the center of a meeting via video conference between Interior Minister Kamal Beljoud and the governors of the Republic. Emphasis was placed on the importance of meeting the necessary conditions to welcome the holy month through fighting all forms of speculations and attempts to create a shortage of first necessary products. The issue of local markets was also discussed. The meeting also made it possible to examine the solution proposed to deal with the problem of the suspension of drinking water supply and the cleanliness of the environment, in addition to the file of payment of solidarity bonuses before the month of Ramadan. The direct Algiers-Nouakchott commercial maritime line was inaugurated on Thursday. The inauguration ceremony at the port of Algiers was chaired by the Transport Minister Issa Bekkay in the presence of Trade and Export Promotion Minister Kamal Rizig and Culture Minister Soraya Moulouji. This line will facilitate and strengthen trade between the two countries and therefore represents a new opportunity for Algeria to diversify its economy. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad has issued a statement calling on Algerian citizens present and established in Ukraine to exercise extreme caution and to leave their places of residence only in case of emergency. The ministry, in coordination with the diplomatic services in Kiev, is closely monitoring the situation as in cautious contact with members of the national community in Ukraine. Moreover, a toll-free number is available for them to contact the Algerian embassy in Kiev to inquire about the situation of their relatives in this country. The Russian army launched a massive attack on Ukraine this Thursday with airstrikes and a ground invasion, killing dozens of people in few hours. This attack has proven a wave of condemnation, mainly from the U.S. U.S. President Joe Biden denounced and unjustified attacks, accusing Russia of having unleashed a premeditated war for which it alone would be responsible. Vladimir Putin, for his part, said that Russia had no other way to defend itself than to launch its forces in Ukraine. As a result of this Russian military invasion in Ukraine, oil prices have risen above $100, a first for more than 7 years. The price of a barrel of Brent crude oil has reached $105. Russia is one of the world's leading producers of the oil and gas, which has made investors panic about possible energy supply disruptions. The work of the Arab Conference of Solidarity with the Sahrawi people continued on Thursday for the second day in Shahid al-Hafid at the Sahrawi refugee camps. The work should lead to a series of condemnation to support the rights of self-determination of the Sahrawi people and put an end to Moroccan colonization. The meeting, chaired by the advisor of the Sahrawi president in charge of the Arab world, Al-Nannah Al-Labbat Al-Rashid, addressed various issues related to Arab solidarity with the Sahrawi and Palestinian cause. The issue of respect for human rights in Western Sahara was also at the head of the debate. Collective protests are spreading across several cities of the Moroccan kingdom due to the price hike, poverty, lack of freedom and dignity. These claims reveal the seriousness of social inequalities. More details with Manal Ammari.
Moroccans are determined to protest until their voices are heard and their demands are met. They are asking for decent living conditions to preserve their dignity, work, and above all, putting an end to tyranny and corruption. We are asking the government to guarantee work for us. We want more freedom because the Moroccan people's dignity is at stake. We are primarily demonstrating against the increase in the prices of basic necessities, while the salaries of employees remain the same for years. This government has no consideration for the Moroccan people. Demonstrators are also demanding the resignation of Prime Minister Aziz Khannouch, accused of his involvement in the rise of fuel prices through the monopoly he applies on the market. This rise in prices is unbelievable. We are not satisfied and we will continue our fight until we get a solution. In the absence of answers from the governments, Moroccans ensure that the marches will continue. In fact, the Moroccan Social Front, which includes over 30 organizations, strongly supports the continuation of this fight.
That was it for our news edition. Thanks for tuning into our program. Good night.